Time now for your forewarned weather with Cedric Haynes.
All right, happy Tuesday, Utah. Let's get you out the door here. Let's talk about some good news first. How about the fall foliage? We showed you this yesterday. Our fall foliage map officially updated, and notice we've got some low color now, not only across the mountains of the northeastern half of the state, but stretching down the I-15 corridor all the way down towards Cedar City. So you love to see that all the way up through Cache Valley and Logan here. We're already starting to get some low color here, but the big story, of course, is in the higher elevations where we're really starting to expand that coloration there across most of the higher elevations. So you can see as you get up into the Uintas and areas here east of I-15 there up towards the Wasatch Back, we're really starting to see those colors brighten up a little bit. And yeah, believe it or not, some areas here in the higher elevations around Colville down through Park City, Heber City now getting towards peak color. So over the next week or two, I think those colors will peak there along the Wasatch Back. And then after that, we'll continue to see the colors expanding across the rest of the state. To give you a little more proof on that, let's take a little tour here. Thanks to Sterling Moore for sending this in. This is some photos here from Lookout Point. And yeah, look at the colors now starting to really pop there at the peaks of the mountains here. And we'll go a little farther down towards the south there, the Cascade Springs, and you can see, oh, man, that is beautiful. The greens, oranges, the reds, really showing up with that blue sky off to the north. And here we go, a nice zoomed-in shot here, the Cascade Springs with our friend Mr. Sunshine there, really lighting up those colors there a little bit more. So get a chance, head up to the higher elevations, some beautiful scenes there. All right, let's talk about the tropics. Yeah, the tropics, because this will have an indirect impact on our weather, and I'll talk more about that in just a second. But this is potential tropical cyclone number 9 trying to develop here down in the Caribbean Sea, and you can see it's expected to become a tropical storm, Helene, later today. And notice by midnight tonight, already shooting through the Yucatan Peninsula with winds of 60 miles per hour, and then it gets into the southwestern Gulf of Mexico as a hurricane as early as Wednesday night. And notice by Thursday, it's on approach to the Big Bend of Florida. Looks like that's going to be the target zone. Look at this. Not what you like to see. Category 3 major hurricane. It's going to be a big story, not only because it's going to be a Cat 3 at landfall in Florida, but it's going to get a slingshot effect going, and it's going to shoot up through the state of Georgia quickly, which means this thing could be a strong tropical storm or maybe even a hurricane still as it makes its way through a populated area in Atlanta, Georgia. So that's going to be a big story. Then it kind of stalls out in the midsection of the country, just swirling around, and that's when we get the indirect impacts here across the western half of the country. So let's show you how that sets up. High pressure, this heat dome, everything goes up and around us, so we just stay hot and baking underneath that heat dome. And we're going to be talking about some near record high temperatures over the next couple of days. But here's that system there. It's going to be actually an upper low, then the tropical system. They're going to kind of merge and pivot around each other. And as that happens, that keeps all the unsettled weather stuck over the east and southeastern half of the country, which means we just stay hot and dry here in the west because this high pressure ridge, it can't move east, right? Because it's stuck. So it just sits over us, and that's the way our pattern stays in the coming days. So here's our average high along the Wasatch Front. Here's the forecast highs. Yeah, looking well above average. Same story as you get towards St. George. The average high in that white line, forecast high temperatures way away from that. In fact, St. George, I want to talk about this. We average typically about 52 100-degree days per year in the summertime. This year, we've already had 89. We're in the number 3 spot for most 100-degree days of the summer. And folks, I think if we hit 100 degrees one more time, we get in that number 2 spot. That's very possible, and maybe even a few more after that. So your temperature outlook looking well above average. All the unsettled weather in the east, so we stay dry and hot here along the east. So temperatures, 40s and the 50s out there. It's cool now, but we get into the 80s, maybe even the mid-90s down towards southwest Utah. And hey, don't forget about the pollen in that medium range category as well. So St. George, we're looking at temperatures going from the mid-90s to near 100 this week. Dry, hot, maybe record highs. Same thing along the Wasatch Front. Dry, warming up, maybe some record highs by Thursday into Friday.